All right, folks, say hi to my wife, my lovely wife. But the section of the yard, which is about half the yard, is brown compared to this section, which is green. And so we're gonna do an experiment to re-green the brown part of the yard, because the brown part of the yard, well, it's got leaves and various debris on the ground, but the real problem is it doesn't have a deep soil. And even the sand there is like full of roots and weird stuff. Like, to get a shovel through, it's just difficult. So we're gonna try and just build soil on top of it. And hopefully as roots begin to go down, they'll begin to poke holes in that just mesh of roots. So let's get to it. All right, here we've got our chickens hard at work, and they're on grass, eating grass, scratching grass, finding bugs, doing whatever. And we're gonna move them over there and start our experiment. Get them to work busting up the ground and get some biological activity going with some of their fertility. So if you remember, I had pigs and they produced literally a whole pile of fertility for me. So I'm going to be shoveling that into that so that they can scratch it around and basically form a really nice layer of fertile soil over the surface. And I want to move them. And so over time, they're going to be scratching that, working that in with the soil, also adding their own fertility from their manure. And as I move the chicken tractor around, I can throw seed down. Maybe there's some seed already in there, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully we get a really nice green mat of literally anything. I don't really care what it is, but grasses and forbs, that'd be great. They'll appreciate this in a minute. Yeah, good job, chickens. Spread that stuff out. Get all the yummy stuff. Oh, they like this. Now they're getting it figured out. Good job, hens. All right, so look at this soil. It's really, really weird. Basically, there's a layer of just dead roots. It looks like nice soil, nice and dark and whatnot, but it is not. It doesn't hold moisture very well, and then below it is just sand, but it's just this weird fibrous stuff. And then if we get some water, look at that. The water does not soak in whatsoever, and it literally just sits there on the surface. So we get a rain and it takes forever for water to soak in. So really it's running off. So I poured it right here. It's soaked in somewhat, but there's still a lot of water on the surface, and it's just pulled up right there. So it's a really just bizarre thing that's happening here, and I need my chickens to scratch it and just get some kind of water retention ability. So the compost I threw in there is going to help, and then I think having these chickens in here scratching around, pooping, all that kind of stuff is going to help a lot as well. So hopefully they're able to help with all that, so that this soil will actually hold some water instead of holding water on the surface, which is not what I want. That's so bizarre. All right, so there's 5 principles of soil health, and so I think we're applying 2 right now. One of them is animal impact, and the second one is soil armor, which really means like organic matter covering the soil. So over here the soil was almost completely bare, It was just basically dry leaves that have been blowing around. But with some compost that will hold moisture, that will create that soil armor. And then animal impact is the chickens. And so they're going to go in there, spread, kind of integrate it into the surface, so that it's not drying out and blowing away, hopefully. Otherwise I may need more. And then the other one is just rest and roots in the ground. So as soon as I move them, we'll put seed there. They can sprout, roots start going into the ground, and then they start producing sugars for soil microbes, and then we can get the whole system rolling again. And yeah, so there's another principle. Forgot what it was. Oh, diversity, I think it was. So I'm not going to just put one type of seed down. I'm going to put a bunch of different stuff. And the big reason for that is I don't know what will do well in this spot. And so I'm just going to put a bunch of stuff down, and whatever does well, does well. So I'm not trying to grow a specific thing here. I just want something growing, and preferably something my chickens will eat. So I'll probably mostly put things that chickens will eat, or whatever. I may get some sheep back here. We'll see. But that's the way I'm approaching all this, because without soil we cannot produce food on land. So pretty important to have good soil so we can produce a lot of food and grow more food in the backyard. Do the chickens have large talons? Now, you don't have to use compost. You could use leaves. In fact, if I had some leaves, I'd probably use that for this. But what I've got is compost. It's really chunky compost with some big chunks of wood chips and whatever that aren't broken down yet. But there's a lot of dark, broken down soil in there. So that's what I'm using. But you can get creative. You could literally use anything. You could use, pine shavings, that, gerbil bedding or whatever. So don't limit yourself. Really, just any high carbon organic material is good for soil armor. And then as far as disturbance goes, you can use any, it's safe to say you could use any kind of animal. They're all going to have different types of impact, but they're all going to create some type of disturbance. Like obviously a chicken is going to be a lot different than a cow. It's going to be way different than a pig. A pig would bust this ground up, and they actually would be really good. And they did it back there. But I didn't want to expand the pig pen too much this time. Maybe in the future I'll use pigs here if nothing else works. But my freezer's full of pork, and I don't want any more pigs right now. So yeah, really I want to get animals that are going to produce, grow and reproduce on what I can grow here. So an herbivore is probably my best bet, a small herbivore. So I'm thinking about some kind of sheep or something like that. But we'll see what happens and what the next project will be. But hopefully I can get my hands on some land sooner rather than later, because my 1/10 of an acre here with a house on it is not a whole lot to work with as far as animals go. But I want to be faithful with the 1/10 of an acre that I have, so maybe I'll get more one day, but then also to learn on here. So if I have like a bunch of land somewhere in the future, and there's an area where nothing's growing, if I know what to do on this little bit of land to get stuff growing, it's going to be a whole lot easier to do it on a bigger piece if I already know how to do that. Otherwise I'm running bigger experiments that take more time and resources, and you don't want to be experimenting with your money. You want to know what your money's going to do. So that's what we got going on here today, and chickens are just a blast. So if your yard is it's kind of dead and not really growing much, get some chickens, start applying the soil health principles, and watch the transformation take place. Got to be patient. You got to trust and have faith that these principles are going to work, and they will, because that's just how nature works. And you'll see a lot of good things happen, a lot of green stuff start coming up. But until next time, just do something. Before my next video comes out, this one's coming out on Thursday, so Monday, oh, you got the weekend. Plant something in the ground, get an animal, get some chickens in your backyard, start building a chicken house, maybe like this one, or like that one. Honestly, that chicken tractor is a better bet. It's easier to build, it's smaller, and it can house about the same amount of chickens. And this is built for when I go out of town. I throw the chickens in there. They got plenty of feed and water, so I can leave them. This one takes some maintenance, so if you have a kid or something, needs a project, get them a chicken tractor, put 3 chickens in there, get them rolling. Alright, have a great day, guys. Bye.